It started with a password for sale on a Darknet market for less than the cost of a dental cleaning, and it ended with a Florida doctor's patients getting threats on their phones, and a stranger offering to sell the doctor's young child's identity. In June 2017, someone typed a username and password into the server of a medical clinic in Griffin, Georgia, and the server let him right in. No alarms, no broken window. He was holding a real key. He'd bought it. And from a quiet house 2,000 miles away in Meridian, Idaho, he started downloading patient records. Pulling that off doesn't take genius. It takes a store. The Darknet is the hidden part of the internet. It takes special software to reach, and sites there can hide who runs them. Its marketplaces look like any online store. Listings, prices, seller ratings, except everything for sale is stolen, including working logins to other people's servers. Criminals scan the internet for computers with remote access left open, the feature that lets an IT person control a machine from far away, guess a weak password, and post the key for sale. On the most infamous of these markets, one the FBI later shut down, a hacked server started at around $10. That's what Robert Purbeck was doing inside that Georgia clinic. He hadn't outsmarted anyone, he'd gone shopping. Once inside, he took the records of more than 43,000 people, names, addresses, birth dates, social security numbers. A name plus a birth date plus a social security number is a complete identity theft starter kit, and unlike a stolen credit card, it never expires. He kept shopping. In February 2018, he bought credentials for a police department server, the City of Newnan, Georgia, logged in and took police reports and the personal information of more than 14,000 people. In total, at least 19 victims across the United States, more than 132,000 people's information piling up quietly in his house. His online alias, of all things, Lifelock. Then, in July 2018, the collecting turned into something uglier. Purbeck demanded a ransom from a Florida orthodontist whose patient records he'd stolen. Pay in Bitcoin, digital money designed to be hard to trace, or the files get sold. The doctor didn't fold, so Purbeck went after the patients. For 10 days, threatening emails, threatening texts, to the doctor and to the people in his files. And then the line that tells you who he was. He threatened to sell the personal information of the orthodontist's minor child, his own kid. The orthodontist still didn't pay. He called the FBI. Federal cases move slowly, and then all at once. On August 21st, 2019, FBI agents with a search warrant knocked on that quiet door in Meridian, Idaho. They carried out computers and devices holding the personal information of more than 132,000 people, the clinic, the police department, and at least 17 other victims. The collection was over. On March 19, 2024, Purbeck pleaded guilty to 2 counts of computer fraud and abuse, and that November, Chief U.S. District Judge Timothy Batten sentenced him 10 years in federal prison, 3 years of supervised release, and $1,048,702.98 in restitution, his victims' real cleanup bills. The U.S. Attorney Ryan Buchanan called him a callous and brazen cybercriminal, and said his time of hiding behind a computer to steal, threaten, and intimidate is over. Now the uncomfortable part. Nobody in this story got hacked the way movies show it. Purbeck logged in the way your own staff logs in, with a working username and password. A stranger bought a copy of the house key at a flea market and walked in the front door. So here's the real question. If a copy of your key were for sale right now for $10, would you even know? If your server sits on the internet behind nothing but a password, you can't say yes. So, 3 things worth doing this weekend. First, kill exposed remote access. If your machines can be reached from the internet over remote desktop, turn that off or put it behind a VPN, a private tunnel only your people can enter. Second, multi-factor authentication on everything that faces the internet, the extra code from your phone. The $10 key stops fitting the lock. Third, a password manager with a different password for every account, so one leak doesn't open the whole business. And if extortion ever lands in your inbox, don't negotiate alone. Report it to the FBI at ic3.gov the same day. The orthodontist's refusal, plus the FBI's work, is why this story ends in a prison sentence instead of a payout. 1Password, for sale for less than a dental cleaning. It sat a stranger inside a small-town clinic, then a police department, and finally walked him into a federal courtroom in Georgia for 10 years. Tonight, somewhere on a Darknet market, there's a fresh page of keys for sale. The only thing you decide is whether one of them still opens your door. Breach Brief breaks down one real attack and what it actually costs every week. Subscribe and stay a step ahead. This is general education, not legal or financial advice.